This video will be about writing ionic equations. Step 1. Write the balanced chemical equation with state symbols. Step 2. Rewrite the equation in terms of ions for substances that are soluble in water and dissociate into ions in water. Not all substances dissociate into ions in water. What are some examples? Acids, alkalis, and finally, salts that are soluble in water. How do you know which salts are soluble in water? Check the solubility table. Then, cancel out the spectator ions. Spectator ions are ions that do not take part in the chemical reaction. They remain unchanged. Step 4. Rewrite the ionic equation with state symbols. Ionic equation must be written with state symbols. Let's look at an example. This is sodium chloride and silver nitrate reacting together to form silver chloride and sodium nitrate. You immediately notice that silver chloride is insoluble. It is an insoluble salt and it will be a precipitate. A precipitate is an insoluble a salt that forms from the equation. How does this reaction occur? You actually have two soluble salts, and what happens is that they exchange partners. So if you see the colors that I'm drawing, the cation will exchange partners with the anion, and therefore you get a new salt, silver chloride, and it just so happens that this salt is going to be insoluble in water. So we call this reaction a precipitation reaction. So let's go on to write the ionic equation. We are going to rewrite the equation in terms of ions. Sodium chloride is a soluble salt, so I can rewrite in terms of the ions. Same things for silver nitrate. But when I go to silver chloride, it's solid state. It does not exist as ions. It's insoluble in water. So I leave it as silver chloride. And then I write the ions out for sodium nitrate. Next step, cancel out the spectator ions. There are two spectator ions, sodium ion as well as nitrate ion. Final step, rewrite the ionic equation. This is the final ionic equation of this reaction. There will be other examples in your worksheet. Let's go on. This is a acid and alkali reaction to form salt and water. So let's go on to rewrite in terms of the ions. Acid will dissociate into its two ions. So would the alkali. Sodium chloride is soluble, so it will also dissociate into ions. However, water will not dissociate into ions. It is a molecule. So now cancel out the spectator ions, chloride and sodium. And now you rewrite the equation. This is your ionic equation. And this ionic equation is common for all neutralization reactions of acid and alkali. Let's move on to our final example. This is a base reacting with an acid to give you salt and water. So right now your base is insoluble. So when I rewrite it out, it does not become ions. So I leave it as a solid. This acid will dissociate, but take note that there will be two of hydrogen ions as well as two nitrate ions based on the balanced chemical equation. Copper sulfate nitrate is a soluble salt, and again, don't forget, you need two of the nitrate ions based on the chemical formula. And we learned that water is a molecule and will not dissociate into ions. Let's look at the spectator ions. They are nitrate. Finally, you rewrite out the chemical equation. And there you go. This is the ionic equation. Hope you enjoyed the video.